Hello everybody, how are you guys? This is a video about the 3 worst folk music clubs in Long Beach, California. We just finished some videos on the worst jazz clubs and rock clubs. Folk music doesn't have as many fans as it did in the 60s and 70s, but they're still loyal and it's a vibrant music genre, so let's get into it. The first folk music club that's interesting, it's down on campus, and when you walk in, it's very dark, but it's also very, it has this smell, this odor of, if you've ever been in a VW bus from 1969, you'll know that it has this musty combination of nostalgia and inexpensive weed. And that's the odor that you experience when you walk into Folky Bus. A Folky Bus is located in a former dance hall, and they have purchased 17, 18, 19 different old Volkswagen buses, and they parked them inside there, and you go and you sit in a VW bus, not the newer ones. I'm talking about a 1960s hippie wagon, and you sit in there and you listen to the folk music while candles burn, and the wait staff takes a very long time to get to you to get your order because, well, they're operating on 2 different planes at the same time, if you know what I mean. So it's just not for me. Now, number 2, folk music club, one of the worst in town. Wow, this place. I mean, folk music is supposed to, in my opinion, a lot of times, the best qualities of it is this feeling of you singing along, that as a group, you know, this land is your land, that kind of feeling, right? Well, at this particular folk music club, it's almost the opposite, because it's called solo folk, and when you walk in, they say, would you rather, in fact, they don't even ask anymore. They've changed the policy of the club. You have to sit by yourself. And you sit in a booth with headphones on. You can sing, but no one's there to sing with. There's really no interaction. That's why they call it solo folk, and it sort of destroys, really for me, the best parts of folk music, solo folk. So that's on my list. That's on my list of worst folk clubs. And number 3, each of these is strange in their own way, and this might be the strangest one on this list because it's run by a guy that was a former folk music star. Everybody knows his name. It's Jim O'Clanahan-Stein, and he was one of the biggest folk music musicians throughout that time period, 60s, 70s, 80s, and he kind of fell off after that. His name wasn't recognized by the younger crowd, and that wheel of time keeps turning, and eventually he was brushed aside. So he opened this jazz club, folk club in Long Beach. And so you would think if anybody would know how to run a great folk music club, this would be the guy, because he was one of the leaders in the industry. And I don't know if it's because he's bitter or if he's just getting older, but when you go in, there isn't a stage. And so the wait staff, when they take your order for coffee or whatever, then they play a song based on your order, and that's the performance. Okay, so they'll basically concoct a song based on your name and what you order, and then they'll perform that as they make the meal, make the drink, and as they serve it to you and call your name out over the loudspeaker for you to come to the corner there and pick it up. So it's kind of a self-serve, and that's the whole performance. So you sit down and you look to the stage, you go, okay, where's the singers? Where's the folk music? And that was it. So I don't know if they're pranking us or what's going on, but I don't have time to figure it out. And so that's on my list of 3 of the worst folk music clubs in town. And I didn't want to slow down my explanation of the last one there, but I didn't give the name. It's called Order and Sit. Order and Sits is the folk music club there. Order and Sits, where you basically get your performance when you order. There you go, guys. It's not for me. 3 of the worst folk music clubs in town. Maybe you know some other ones. Get on the Twitter, get on the YouTuber, or whatever social media you have. We're probably there. And leave a comment. Thanks, guys.